Hello and happy Tuesday. I am coming at you to kind of give you all a model and a think aloud of how I would tackle one of these race texts as you all are learning this new strategy. So the race strategy is not one that's going to come very easily, especially if you are a kid that always wants to write as little as possible. These are full, beautiful answers that have tons of information. Okay. So normally your answer for these race practice texts are going to be about 3 sentences long. So that's what you should aim for. So when we look at the race strategy, every day you practice this, there's going to be this helpful page on the front. Okay. So it's not there for nothing. I really want you to use it as a resource. And if you forget what one of the letters stands for, you get all these nice reminders. Okay, so the R stands for restating the question. And this is where we start every time. We look at the question first. I honestly like to look at the question before I even read the text sometimes to know what I'm looking for. But in our example, it says, how can students improve their study skills? And then the example of the beginning of that sentence would be, students can improve their study skills by. So almost that whole part is already in that example sentence. Students can improve their study skills by. That was right there from the question. So use all those words and pull them into your answer. Now, the R and the A are a team. They make up the first sentence together. So once you've restated the question, that's when you answer the question. So after you've restated, then you have to keep in mind, oh, yes, I have to answer that question. And there might be more than one part. So this is our reminder that we need to answer all parts. C is where things kind of get tricky. This is where you have to go back in the text and find some examples or evidence that backs up what you're saying, what you think the answer is. So a good way to start this sentence is, for example, according to the text, the author states. So again, this is a good tool to help you guys remember how to start these sentences, because it's a lot. It's a lot to remember. So C is where we cite our evidence, and then the E sentence is where we explain the evidence that we've given. We have to make a connection between that evidence and our original answer. And this sentence might start with, this example shows, this text evidence proves. All of these different starters kind of connect your answer with your text evidence. So that's just a little review of what each letter stands for. We've got some tips down here that says, while you read, circle and underline important sentences so they're easier to find later. We can totally do that with Kami with the markup tool, and I think it's a good idea. Check off each part of the race strategy as you write. So we can kind of be like, oh, I've restated, I've answered, here's my evidence, and now I've got to explain. So we can check it off as we do it. And then we need to always reread our work to check for mistakes. And in fact, reading it out loud is even more helpful. So make sure you are doing that, not just on these, but on Seesaw writings too. So let's look at this together. I'm going to pretend to be a student, and I'm going to use the race strategy to answer the question. So like I said, sometimes I like to look at the question before I even read the text. So let's do that together. It says, how did Brianna feel when she was on her way to camp? Explain using details from the text. So I'm trying to figure out how she felt when she was on her way to camp. All right, let's read this. It says, first day of camp. As Brianna boarded the bus for summer camp, she had a knot in her stomach. I think that might be important. So I'm going to go ahead, put knot in her stomach. I'm going to highlight that. She didn't know anyone at camp and had never been away from home for such a long time. She sat down in an empty seat and moved over to the window, giving a small wave to her parents who had dropped her off. Her palms were sweaty, and she wiped them off on her shorts. Before long, a friendly girl with pigtails asked if she could sit next to her. Brianna said yes, hoping that this might become a new friend. She breathed a sigh of relief. I think that sentence could be important too. All right, so looking at my question, how did Brianna feel when she was on her way to camp? So I have to restate my question. So I would say, let me add my text box first. On her way to camp, Brianna, let me make sure I'm spelling her name right. It's right there above it, so I don't have any excuse not to spell it right. On her way to camp, Brianna felt, and now I have to decide. So I know she breathed a sigh of relief once a friendly girl talked to her, but before that, her palms were sweaty. She had a knot in her stomach. So that lets me know she felt kind of nervous, kind of scared. So I'm going to say on her way to camp, Brianna felt nervous. And then what is my, so I've got my R, I've restated my question, I've answered my question. Maybe I'll make it a little more nervous and scared. Those are a little different. So then I don't quite remember what my C is. Okay, my C is cite evidence to support your answer. So I'm going to use the according to the text sentence starter. Oops, I can keep going with that one text box. So I like to remember to make a little space after every period so that my sentences don't look all smushed together. According to the text, Brianna had a knot in her stomach and her palms were sweaty. So then I need a way to connect back to my original answer, right? So how can I show that this evidence means that she felt nervous and scared? So I remember it says this example shows or the quote proves. So I'm going to say my text evidence proves that she was nervous because my stomach hurts and my palms get sweaty when I'm nervous and scared. Okay, so the last thing I need to do is make sure I got all the parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the color of my text to match these colors down here. So I'm kind of wanting it to be a little bigger. So I'm going to go up to 18. And I might even be able to space this out a little better. If we do it like that, ooh, then it goes right in the lines. So that 2.0 might be the way you all want to do it if you want them in the lines. Okay, so my R, my restate the question, is in blue. So on her way to camp, Brianna felt, that's all from my question, right? So I'm going to go over here to the text color. I'm going to change it to blue. And then this was my answer, was nervous and scared. So that needs to be green. Go to green. So now I'm showing this is my R. This is my A. And then this whole sentence is my C. So it needs to be orange. And then my red is my E, and it's already red. So now it looks like a beautiful rainbow answer. And it's easy for my teacher to tell which part goes with which part. So since it said you should also mark off when you're done, if you want to do that, you can put an X in each of these boxes just by putting a new text box to show that you've also gotten them all. So hopefully this was helpful. I know it helps me to see somebody else do it sometimes. And this isn't a passage you all will do, but it just kind of breaks it down for you. So I can't wait to read yours for today. I know you're going to do awesome. And I will see you guys later. Bye.